will so now it's time to introduce our speaker, Ilanit Freeman. So as a fun fact, she defined, or some friend of her defined her as a bulldozer because she makes so many things happening. So she is really someone who take risk and take opportunities. She's as well Secretary General and Operation Manager of the PMI Israel chapter since 2020. And she's an entrepreneur and a coach since 2017. And she helps professionals in their career development and in particular to improve their self-awareness. And she's the developer of the AAA principle for success, which was originally created to help women, but was adapted as well to target project manager and professional like us. And some tips about her. So she loves traveling abroad, dancing, playing. She plays drums, and she loves nature and classical music. So I'm very happy to let the stage now to Ilanit, our speaker tonight, and I will wish you a very good hearing.
So hello, everybody. I'm very, very happy to be here. And Florian, I have to say, I'm very, very impressed with all your activity in your local chapter. This is really, really impressive. And I'm very glad to take part of it. So let us begin. Our topic today is how to become an inspiring leader. And my first question to you before we start would be, can you please share with us what qualities make a person an inspiring leader for you? What do you think a leader needs to be inspiring? Now, I can't see the chat, so Florian, if you can see it, and if you can see, people.
I will tell you.
Yeah. Tell me.
So
this is. Yeah.
I have integrity here.
Integrity. Yeah.
Role model. Responsibility.
Good answers. Very, very, very good answers.
Creative vision. Professional. Lead by example. Empathy. Twice.
Empathy twice. Okay, good.
High emotional intelligence.
Very, very.
Respect other opinions.
Sorry, what was the last one?
Respect other opinions and good communication skills.
Very, very, very good. Now, I want you all to remember these things, not because you have to remember these specific things, but they do represent something which we will arrive to very, very shortly. So let's begin. This here is our very, very, very dear project manager. Okay, and you can see that he has a lot of burden on him because
Ilanit, I think it's reverse again.
You sure?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Let's try.
Now it's better.
Now it's good.
Now it's good? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, as project managers, we all experience different challenges, okay? We have challenges like too much risk, impossible schedules sometimes, staff not collaborating with us the way we want them to collaborate with us. Maybe stakeholders have contradicting interests, and we need to sort it out, and we need to kind of juggle between everybody. Sometimes we feel we have no backing or support, right? The budget is always too small. Come on, let's admit this, right? Anybody says any different? I doubt. And on top of all of this, this is just examples of what we face as project managers, but we're also people and we have our private lives, okay? So this is something that is accompanying us on our day-to-day work. Now, The Greek philosopher Aristotle came up with the law of identity. We're not going to study philosophy now, but the only reason I bring this here is just to say that the law of identity basically says that each thing is identical to itself, which means a book is a book, a table is a table, okay? A bottle is a bottle, right? A telephone is a telephone. But the reason I bring it, because so are we, okay? So in reality, if we want to become inspiring leaders, we need to focus on ourselves. And when I asked you before about what qualities does a person need to be an inspiring leader, you all said things like responsibilities, like integrity, like good communication skills, etc., etc. The thing that the common thing that was connected to all the things that you mentioned is that these are things that the person itself, the person himself has. Okay, would you agree with that? I can't see you, so I presume that you agree. And therefore, what we are going to do in this session is to focus on us, okay? I'm taking away all the challenges that we have as project managers in our professional lives, and we are talking about ourselves. And within ourselves, there are three major things that are always with us, okay? I'm not saying these are the only things, but these are the three major things that if we learn how to deal with them, we will become a much better people generally, but definitely very, very inspiring leaders. The three things are our bodies, our emotions, and our thoughts. Now let's begin with our bodies. Let's talk a little bit about our bodies. What we need to understand is that everything that we experience in life leaves a mark on our body, okay? Our body remembers, even if we don't think it remembers, even if we think this is something which is completely insignificant, not something we need to pay attention to or anything, our body remembers. It leaves a mark, just like a scar, okay? And the body, as it is built out of a lot of electric connections, it always seeks shortcuts, just like our brain. It has a way of filing everything so that it can just take out something at the right minute, at the right time, and make it fast and to the point. Our body is the same exactly, okay? Our body reacts automatically to different situations, okay? We don't even think about it. The body reacts. It doesn't ask us. The body knows how we feel. The body knows what's coming, and it just makes the reaction before we even know that it's coming, okay? I would like to point out a research that was done in Finland in 2013 that actually showed the location in the body for these different feelings. It talks about fear, it talks about disgust, about happiness, about sadness, and other feelings. And I bring it here because I do want to connect this and to show later on that it's all kind of affecting each other, okay? Now let's see some examples to our automatic reactions, okay? For instance, I'm not going to read all of it. You can just get the point. But let's say that when we feel embarrassed, we blush, okay? Or some of us blush. When we feel anxiety, for instance, it can cause diarrhea or nausea. Now, I do want to point out that these are examples, and different people might react in different ways, okay? But the important thing to understand that each person, once it has developed its pattern, once it has developed his automatic reaction, the automatic reaction will keep on going unless the person will do a certain action to divert the automatic reaction and do something different. Okay. So different people might react in different ways, but a lot of people, let's say, when they feel embarrassed, they blush. Okay. When they feel stress, I don't know if you know, you might have heard, because this is a well-known fact today. Stress today in the Western world, at least, is the #1 cause for heart attacks, for strokes, and for different health issues. So it can cause, as I said, heart attacks, but more than that, you know, it can cause high blood pressure, diabetes, hair loss, digestive problems, sleep problems, cancer, etc., etc., etc. These are serious problems. Okay. Now, I don't want you to think that only kind of negative feelings have its effect on our body, because also positive feelings have its effect on our bodies. If we feel happy, we smile. Okay, if we are excited, then we might want to jump or dance or hear music or things like that. Okay. So I want to say that when we're talking about our bodies, we do need to be aware of our bodies, and there might be also health issues. Some of them are very obvious, and others are not so obvious. Okay, somebody might have high cholesterol. Okay, somebody might have a high blood pressure or suffer from shortness of breath. Okay, people around him or her won't necessarily know that, and we won't know that it's bothering them, but somewhere here at the back of the mind, it disturbs them. Okay, let's think about a situation where this person, our very, very friendly project manager, who's working really hard to succeed in his work, okay, he needs to go into a very, very important meeting at work. Okay, staff meeting, whatever. Okay, needs to go into a very important meeting at work, and the day before, his doctor told him that he has high blood pressure, and if he doesn't do anything about it, then his life is at risk. Okay, so he's going into that meeting with that bothering him at the back of his head. Okay, so he could be very, very, very professional and could really try to be in the meeting and do his job well, but he can't avoid the fact that something else is bothering him. Okay. Another thing which is very, very typical, especially in the Western world today, is that all of us breathe shallow breaths. Okay, which means we don't go deep. We don't take the oxygen all the way down to our stomachs. Okay, we just keep it here, and sometimes it gets stuck in our throats or somewhere in our chest. Okay, and we don't actually feel our bodies with the oxygen that it desires. So what I would like us all to do now, maybe I should stop the presentation for a minute, or just so that I can see you all, whoever is sharing. Just to, if you want, close your eyes. If you don't, that's okay too. But just put your one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, and just breathe in. Take a deep breath and just try to fill your body with oxygen. Just make sure that you feel your chest and stomach go up as the air goes in, and goes down when it goes out. Let's take another deep breath. and let it out. If you're brave enough, you can make a sound when you let the air out. Ah, really take it out. How do you feel? Share with me. How does your body feel now? How do you feel? Relaxed. And more relaxed. What else is there? Calm. Me too. Yeah. So you see the effect of something so simple doesn't cost us anything apart for awareness to our body. You feel stronger. Wow, that's good. That's sometimes that is all we need. Okay, take this as a little tip. You go into a very important meeting, you feel stressed, you feel scared, you feel anxiety, you feel whatever. Take just a few seconds. It didn't take us more than a few seconds to breathe. Okay? So there's a tip for you right here. Let's carry on with the presentation. Florian, this is the right way around, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, as I hope we all agree now that our project manager, on top of everything else that he's facing, yes, all the challenges that he's facing at work and his private life, his body is also something that can be extra weight on him. Do we all agree on this? I hope so. Let us carry on. Let's talk about our emotions a little bit. So I did mention already this research from Finland, which was very, very interesting, that showed that emotions appear in different locations in our bodies, and it has the same locations for those specific emotions. But let's talk about feelings in general, okay? So first of all, what is a feeling? A feeling, if we go to just a definition of a feeling, it is a mental, physical condition that may manifest in varying degrees of physical arousal, thought patterns, and behavior. Okay? It also affects our mood, and it also depends. It's very subjective. Okay? Every person will feel differently in different situation. Okay? Now, we said it's subjective. We said it has a physical effect. Okay, we already know that it has a physical effect, and it also has behavioral effects. Let's see an example. Okay, I took a very, very strong feeling, which is guilt. Okay, the reason I took it is because a lot of us feel guilty whether we know it or we don't know it, and this is one of the heaviest feelings that affects whoever feels it. Okay, once we feel guilt, it really, really is something that it's so difficult to carry. Okay, so let's see subjective reactions to guilt. And remember, this is all automatic reaction, yes? So, number one, different people will feel guilty in different circumstances, okay? For example, let's take a kid, okay, who goes to steal something very, very little from the supermarket, okay? He may did it for fun. He may did it because he just fancied it. He may did it because he was challenged to do it. whatever reason, okay? Now, he might feel that this is something very small. He just challenged himself, and that's it. He's done it, and he's okay with it. Somebody else would say, oh my God, what did I do? This is so wrong. I'm a thief, and he will take it really, really, really bad, okay? This is what I mean by a subjective feeling towards the situation, the circumstances. Now, physiological reaction could be, and once again, it's very subjective, could be either blushing or look down. You know, you can't look somebody at the eye, you look down. You might be bending your shoulders and might be contracting your whole body, and your whole physiological appearance would show the guilt. Now, behavioral reaction also varies and could be different. You could try to avoid the people that were involved in the event, or you can just, you know, not beat yourself up in you know, physically, but emotionally beat yourself up with why did I do this? This is very, very wrong. What I want to bring here is what's the word? The legitimacy of feelings, okay? This is a very, very important thing. And if you know something, if you take anything out of all of this lecture, apart from the breathing, which is a good tip for everybody, but this is something that I feel that is very important to understand, because it really, really affects our lives. A lot of the feelings, or not a lot of the things, we tend to split feelings to legitimate feelings and illegitimate feelings, okay? Now, feelings that we feel are legitimate, we will either allow ourselves feel them in full or allow ourselves feel them partially, okay? And feelings that we feel are not legitimate, we will either try to push them aside, or if by any chance we still feel them, it's running too fast. If by any chance we still feel them, we will feel guilty about how come we let ourselves feel them, okay? Now, even legitimate feelings, okay? Let's say, you know what, before that, let me just stop sharing here. Let me go back to you. Let me ask you, can you please share with me, what do you think would be legitimate feelings and what is illegitimate feelings? Let's start with legitimate feelings. What's legitimate for you? Just a second. Anger, fear, joy, happiness, frustration, love, fear, happiness. Great. Great. Can you see, by the way, that I asked about legitimate feelings, okay? And different people say different things, you know? Somebody might say that fear is not a legitimate feeling, and anger is also not a legitimate feeling. But you know something? Even happiness for some people is not legitimate. Okay? For instance, okay, say that you've lost somebody close to you, okay, for whatever reason, okay, they passed away, and there's a wedding of a sibling of yours, okay, and you want to go to the wedding, and you're happy with the wedding, and you want to be happy with the wedding, but you just lost this person. How can you be happy? Okay, and then you start feeling there's a whole thing going on in your mind. Am I allowed to be happy? Is it okay to be happy? It's not fair. I mustn't be happy. And then you start feeling guilty for feeling happy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes? So let's go back to the presentation now. Thank you for sharing, by the way. There we are. Oh, it is still showing. Is it still showing?
No, but it's not in presenter mode now.
No, not this one. Just a second.
Yeah, now
yes.
it's good. Yeah.
It's good, and it's the right way around. Yes.
Yes.
So this is what I mean with this arrow. That sometimes even legitimate feelings, if we feel that we can only partially feel them, then the part that isn't legitimate will feel guilty about it if we do feel them. Now, why do we split feelings into legitimate and illegitimate feelings? This is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know if you know it. You may have known it because it comes in so many lectures, in so many places. So you may have seen this before. Basically, what it says is that every human being has basic needs, okay? And it starts off, obviously, at the base of the pyramid with physiological needs, okay? Like breathing, like food, like water, like sleep, yes? So this is the very, very, very basic. Without this, we cannot actually live. After that, we need to feel safety, okay? We need to feel security. We need to feel the security of employment, of a home, of a family, of health, okay? And this is something that we can survive without it, but we need it. We seek this. We're looking for it, okay? Everybody needs it in a way. The one above that is love and belonging, okay? We need to feel loved. We need to feel a sense of belonging. We need to feel that we are embraced by our families, by society, by our teams sometimes at work, okay? By our bosses sometimes, okay? We need to feel a part of something. We don't want to feel alone, okay? So these are the three basic things. Above that is esteem and self actualization, which we will leave aside. You can see it on the screen. The reason for splitting feelings for legitimate and illegitimate feelings is because of the love and belonging. Why? Because, for instance, if we are too excited about something, okay, when we're children, okay, and our parents don't accept this excitement because we made a mess in the house, throwing things around for being excited, okay? So that excitement, the minute our parents told us that this is wrong, we did something wrong, immediately it becomes illegitimate to be excited. Now, as children, for instance, we don't understand that it's illegitimate maybe to our parents to be excited in the way we were showing excitement, but that doesn't mean that excitement in general is illegitimate. But we just remember our bodies remember, yes? So we just took it as a way for life, that excitement is not something to show, okay? And if we feel excitement, it becomes illegitimate. Another thing is that we want to distance ourselves from feelings that make us feel bad about ourselves, okay? So if we take that little child who went just to steal one very, very little thing from the supermarket, if he feels that he did something wrong and he feels guilty about it, then obviously he feels that it makes him feel that he's not a good person, okay? And he wants to get rid of that feeling. So he will try to distance himself from that feeling. If there's any questions, please let me know, okay? The third thing is that, yes, Florian, you wanted to say something?
No, I want to say no, there is no question, no worries.
Okay, good. I just can't see you. I can only see the presentation. So if there's anything coming up, just let me know. The third thing is that there are feelings that are charging feelings because they give us energy. Okay, feelings like love, affection, relief, happiness, joy, satisfaction, curiosity, trust, generosity, confidence. These are all feelings that they give us energy. Okay, they make us feel good. They make the system feel good. Okay, whereas discharging feelings are feelings that take away energy from us. Okay, feelings like hate, like disgust, like contempt, disappointment, shame, worry, bitterness, pain, etc., etc. Okay, so you have examples here on the screen, and I'm sure you can come up with feelings yourself. Just let me know if you understand the difference between charging feelings and discharging feelings. And not just understand the difference between these two, but understand the point why people basically separate unconsciously, completely unconsciously, between legitimate feelings and illegitimate feelings. I will say to you, here is a tip for you. All feelings are legitimate. All feelings are legitimate. The secret is the balance. Okay? If we can balance them, then we are okay. And how can we balance them? We need awareness to ourselves and to our feelings. How do we develop awareness? So the thing is, we're feeling something all the time. Even now, you're feeling something, okay? The problem is, we normally are not connected with our feelings. If I ask you now, how do you feel? Most of the time you will answer, yeah, I'm okay. Is that correct? You won't answer, oh, I feel stressed, or I feel happy or something. You will say, yeah, we're okay most of the time. But the truth is, as I said, that we feel something all the time, and we can, at every given moment, we can ask ourselves, how do we feel? So you see a picture here. How do you feel about this? Please share, write to me in the chat. Well, how do you feel when you see this?
Someone say happy, someone say, oh God, joy, dreamy, danger, excitement,
That's
afraid, impressed.
That's
very
beautiful.
Good because it's my hobby.
So you see, different people, same situation, same picture, they feel different things. Now let's give you another picture and let's see, how do you feel about that one? How do you feel? Please share.
Fear. Surprised.
Opa, okay, good one.
Rose, fear, respectful.
Respectful, good.
Fear, absolute fear, respectful.
Wow. Impressive. Very, very, very good. Fear is expected. So I like the surprise and the respectful, very, very good. But the fear is absolutely expected in this picture. Most people, this is what they say. I would say fear as well. But once again, you see that different people will say different things. Most people might say fear, but somebody would say surprise. How do you feel about this one?
Joy, happy, peaceful, charming, nostalgic, happiness, family, like to be with them.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. You're amazing. Thank you. I am so appreciative that you're sharing. You really, I really wanted to say that to you. So the point is, after all this, the point is that our project manager, our very, very dear friend project manager, okay, he's got his body and his feelings with him all the time, on top of everything else that he's dealing with. Correct? So let's move on. I said there's 3 things that we are going to talk about. The third one is our limiting beliefs. Okay, so what are limiting beliefs? Limiting beliefs are thoughts that we have about ourselves or about the environment that are either completely stop us from doing things or delay us from doing things or divert us from doing the things we want to do. Now, what kind of limiting beliefs there are? Here are some examples, okay? For instance, I will go from left to right, okay? I'm stupid. I'm unworthy. I'm not good enough. I'm undeserving. I'm too small. I'm a failure. I can't. These beliefs are something that is usually unconscious, okay? Although if we develop awareness, we can see that it comes out in so many different ways. We think it's unconscious, but it comes out in so many different ways in every aspect in life, whatever we do, professional life, personal life, happy events, unhappy events, everywhere. Okay. Now, the great philosopher, the Chinese philosopher Confucius, said something which is very interesting. He said, if you say you can, or if you say you can't, in both cases, you're right. Okay? So, because at the end of the day, it depends what you believe. If you believe you can do something, then you can do it. Okay? You do believe that, and the route that you will choose will be the one that will lead to you doing it, because you believe you can. But if you believe that you can't do it, then all your ways of going about life will be that you can't do it. Okay? Now, the thing with limiting beliefs is that it is always with us. At every junction we are, whatever decision, big or small, the limiting belief will always be there. Okay? And it will tell us where to go. Now, we might want to take one route because we know this route would lead us to success. This route is the right route for us. We know that this is what we want to follow. This is what we feel is who we are. Okay? But the limiting belief will stand there at the junction, and it will tell us, no, no, no. You don't deserve to be successful. You don't deserve to be fulfilled and accomplish yourself. You don't deserve, you're unworthy, okay? You're not good enough to go that way. Take the other way, please. Okay? The limiting belief will be there. And the problem is, if we follow the limiting belief, what's going to happen is that it will become stronger and stronger and stronger. And very gradually, or not so gradually, we will just divert ourselves from where we really want to be to where the limiting belief is leading us. Okay? And the result will be to live a very small, unfulfilled, unhappy life. Okay? And that is both professional and in your private life. Do you want to know how limiting beliefs are formed? Are you interested? Okay, I will assume you are. Let's talk about this a little bit. Limiting beliefs are formed in various ways. Number one, childhood effects. Okay, so if we have a limiting belief in our childhood and we don't treat it as children because we haven't got the awareness, or at least my generation didn't have the awareness. Today, there's more awareness, generally speaking, and you deal with children differently. But in my generation, it didn't exist. So if you had a limiting belief as a child, you will just grow up with it, and it will be in you throughout your life, unless you do something to change it. Okay, that is number one. So if, for instance, remember, as children, we are very, very dependent on our parents, on our families, on our teachers. Okay, we are dependent on them. So anything they will tell us, we believe. Okay, so if our parent will tell us, "Oh, you stupid boy or stupid girl," you will grow up with it. You will grow up believing that you're stupid. Now, the parent didn't actually mean that you're stupid. It just was angry with you at that moment. It's a possibility. But he said something and it stuck with you. So that's one thing. The other thing is, do you know these pictures? All these images, you can see them in two ways. Okay? So I'll give you a minute to have a look at them. Choose one image and try to see both images which are in the image. And the reason I brought this up, because it is interpretation. Sometimes people don't actually tell us the sentence that we decided that we are. Okay? For instance, let's stick to the example of the stupid. Okay? Maybe something happened in our childhood, and the mother tells to the child, "You didn't understand me." Okay? Now, the child may interpret from that he's stupid. Now, the mother didn't tell him you're stupid. She said, "You didn't understand me." But the child understood from that if he didn't understand that, he must be stupid. So he formed a limiting belief about himself. And then more and more occasions will come, which leads us to the third thing, which is repeated thoughts. Okay, he will keep on thinking the same thing about himself, and this way the limiting belief will become stronger and deeper all the time. Now, it works as an onion, the limiting beliefs. Okay, what does it mean? Look at our project manager. Okay, he's working really hard, and he might actually be very successful with his work. Okay, but he might feel that he works very hard, but no one appreciates his work. Okay, and that might, if you unfold that, he might have under that another limiting belief, which is, if no one appreciates my work, then maybe I don't do my job good enough. And if I don't do my job good enough, maybe I am not good enough. And if I'm not good enough, maybe it means that I'm a failure. And see how very, very smoothly, we arrive to a root belief, a root limiting belief, which is I'm a failure. Okay? Now, if he thinks that about himself, can he attend a very important meeting and be fully there? I doubt it. So here's a project manager, and he's carrying not only the daily challenges of work, but also himself, because as we said at the beginning of this lecture, A is A, like Aristo said. So he brings himself wherever he is, okay? Whatever challenges, he is the one to face the challenges, okay? And he is his body, his emotions, and his limiting beliefs. And he needs to face the challenges with that. That doesn't leave him, okay? Maybe the risk will be less. Maybe the budget will be okay. Maybe the staff will be more cooperative, okay? But these things, his body, his emotions, and his limiting beliefs will stay with him. Now, we already understand that these things affect each other, okay? Our limiting beliefs, our bodies, and our feelings, they affect each other because they feed each other, okay? I was going to give you an example, but unless you ask me, let's move on, because I see time is getting a little bit stressed. So if there's a question, please write it down and we'll get back to it, okay? I will move forward for now. So, have you ever lied or deceived anyone before? I think we all have, in a way. Even the most honest people, sometimes, in a way, maybe a white lie here and there. And let me give you the answer already. How do we feel about it when we lie? For most people, okay, for normative, non-compulsory liars, okay, this is important. When we lie, we have a whole range of feelings, okay? Embarrassed, ashamed, self-conscious, useless, weak, worthless, terrified, panic, tense, anxious, and more and more and more and more. You can see here the list, okay? Basically, it is to say that we're not so happy when we lie. Again, for normative, non-compulsory liars, and obviously these are examples, and obviously remember, it's very subjective. Different people will feel different feelings, okay? And that's the reason I bring this is because I want to talk a little bit about the imposter syndrome, which today is becoming more and more known phenomenon. It has always existed, but it wasn't something people used to talk about. Now it's becoming something that people are actually talking about it. Admitting it is another matter, but at least talking about it and knowing that it exists. Now, what is imposter syndrome? Let me read to you. I've taken this from Wikipedia. Okay, so this is the definition. Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as fraud. Okay, I don't even need to read the rest of it. This paragraph alone is enough. Imposter syndrome basically happens to people in different levels, okay? It can be people in very high position at work, people who are very, very successful at what they're doing, okay? They can be extremely professionals. They can be extremely appreciated. They can be, people that other people are looking up at them and say, wow, I want to be like them. But them, in themselves, they feel that this is wrong. They attribute their success to luck. they don't feel that they deserve to be where they are. And that is the tragedy of this, because they are very talented, they're very capable, they are very accomplished, they're very successful, and yet they don't feel that. They think that all of this has happened by mistake. Now, because they feel that, they have an inner fear all the time of being exposed. They always fear that somebody is going to find out that they are a fraud. Okay? Can you imagine living with that fear all the time? Every day when they go to work, they fear that today is the day that somebody's going to find out that I am a fraud, that I don't deserve to hold the position that I'm holding. Okay? Remember, we went, I showed you all these feelings of how you feel when you lie. Imagine all this going on with somebody who suffers from imposter syndrome. So limiting beliefs for imposter syndrome is all this. I'm only here because of luck. I do not have the skills. All the external evidence to my success are wrong. I am a fraud. I am not talented enough, etc., etc., etc. Now, when we feel fear of being exposed as fraud, we feel pressure for excellent performance, and we need to prove ourselves, okay? Because, as we said, they don't feel that what they're doing is actually right. They feel that everything is going to collapse one day, and that can lead to health issues and mental health issues. Okay, so when we talked about the dangers of imposterism, this is it. It can lead to health issues and mental health issues. So we all need to be aware of ourselves and where we are in life and how we feel about ourselves in order to avoid these dangers. And once again, look at our friends. You already know what I'm about to say, so let's move on. Okay, so what we've done until now is we've gone through the first principle of the AAA principles. The AAA is a method which I have been developing since 2003. And the first principle is awareness to our body and health, feelings, and limiting beliefs. We'll go to the next principle right now, and that is accountability. Okay? Now, I am sure that all of us as project managers are very, very responsible people. You know, you don't hold a job like this without taking responsibility. But there's a great big difference between taking responsibility at work to taking responsibility to ourselves, because so far what I have showed you is that we need to look at ourselves, yes, our bodies, our feelings, our thoughts, okay? There's a very big difference between taking responsibility to ourselves, to our jobs. The reason is because there's always a price to pay. Okay? Generally speaking, people, when they don't take responsibility, is because the price is too high, they think, okay? And therefore they say to themselves, okay, the price is too high, so I'm not willing to pay the price, so let's not take the responsibility. However, I do want to say that with that, there's always a profit as well, okay? So there is a profit when we take responsibility, okay? And in particular, I would like to focus on when we take our responsibility to our lives. Why? Because we are then able to live big. We are able to grow and improve. We're able to become a better version of ourselves. We are able to choose our lives, follow our dreams, feel satisfied, happy, okay? We're able to be true to ourselves, okay? And we are able to win true freedom, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into that because time is short. So I will skip that. I will say this. Viktor Frankl is a psychiatrist who survived Auschwitz, and he came up with a method. And one interesting thing that he said, and I find it very, very true, that is the paradox of our lives. And it goes to say that sometimes, okay, you know what, I will go back to this. It says that when we don't want to take responsibilities, okay, we have fake freedom. Okay, we have an imaginary freedom. We have the illusion of freedom. We have no responsibilities. We can do whatever we want. We can go wherever we want. You know, we're free and happy, etc., etc. But the thing is that when we're free and happy like this, okay, and we don't have our boundaries and we don't have the responsibility, we are actually lost, okay? But when we do take responsibilities, so yes, we have commitments, we have things to do, we have schedules to follow, we have people to meet, etc., etc. But within that, we have a lot of freedom. This is when we have true freedom, okay? This is when we have real true freedom, because this is when we are able to choose our life. We're not lost in imaginary freedom. We're able to choose what's going on with us. And this is why Viktor Frankl came up with this saying that freedom is only part of the story and only half the truth. So I recommend that the Statue of Liberty on the East Coast be added to the Statue of Responsibility on the West Coast. So, as I said, true freedom is within us, okay? It comes when we are honest with ourselves, and we can only be honest with ourselves through complete awareness to ourselves, okay? When we allow ourselves to be who we really are, okay? We don't need to put masks on. We don't need to fake our behavior in society or at work. We don't have to smile. We don't feel like smiling, etc., etc. We stop running away. We don't need to hide. We don't need to lie. We don't need to feel ashamed about ourselves, but we bring ourselves as we are, okay? We are true to ourselves. And when we are honest with ourselves, we have freedom, we have choice, we can breathe a lot easier, and we will become better leaders. Okay, so this is the second principle of the AAA, accountability, which is, we talked about profit and price. So now the last A of the AAA is action, okay? Now that we've known everything, we all know as project managers, we need to act, right? We can't stay in theory, we must act. Now this, you can take a photo of this, or if you want the presentation afterwards, I will give it to, I will send it to Florent and he can share it with you if you like, okay? This action plan, it seems simple, but it is very, very, very useful to learn about yourselves, okay? Take a week, take 2 weeks, take a month, okay? Write down situations that you had, okay? What happened, who was it with, where, when, what was the reaction, and how powerful was the reaction, okay? And sit down and write. Body and health. How did my body react? What did I feel? Did I have any limiting beliefs? Okay? Fill that in and try and find out if there is a pattern. Try and find out if there is something which shows that there is a pattern in your behavior. Okay? Very, very important. Do not judge yourself. Okay, we're not looking to judge ourselves. We are looking to observe and learn about ourselves. Okay, don't say to yourself, why did I do this? Why did I not say this? I should have done this. I should have done that. No, that is not the purpose of this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is to develop awareness to ourselves, okay? To learn about ourselves in order to become better people. So, what we need to do after we have found out our patterns, we need to identify if there's patterns that are good for us, and maybe some patterns are not good for us, okay? And whatever is not good for us, we need to try and let go of, okay? And these are examples of limiting beliefs that we should let go of because they're not helping us, okay? Now, once we let go of something, there is a void, and a void always has to be filled with something. So we need to bring in something else to our lives, okay? And this is where action plan number 2 comes in, okay? We have a list of things that we need to let go of. And instead, we can write down, think, what should we embrace instead, okay? So let's say, for instance, let's take the first example. We found out that we always have the need to be right, okay? We were very, very good. We filled in the chart, we did our homework, and we found out that we always have the need to be right, okay? Now think about the relationship that it creates. Somebody who always has the need to be right, people look at him and think of him as somebody who is very stubborn, somebody who keeps arguing with people, somebody who hasn't got any patience, somebody who doesn't want to listen, somebody that it's very difficult to work with, etc., etc. Okay? So if you learn this about yourself, maybe what you will want to embrace instead is to try to listen to others. Now, I'm not saying that you have to accept their opinion. All I'm saying is that you just put aside the need to be right and just listen, okay? Now, think about how that will affect your relationship with the people that are around you. So there is a chart here with examples in front of you. Each one of you is more than welcome to just create their own chart and think what they should let go of and what they should embrace instead. If you look at the last line here, in general, I would say that what we should let go of is any problematic behavioral patterns like criticism, like belittling, etc., etc. And what we should embrace instead is the AAA principles: awareness, accountability, and action. Now, remember, practice makes perfect, okay? You need to take small steps, okay? Small steps, because it doesn't come up like this. It takes a little bit of time. You need to practice. You need to do this again and again and again. If you want to be patient instead of being always right and actually try to listen to somebody, not immediately you will be able to listen to everybody and to listen to all they have to say, okay? But you practice. So now you listen for 1 minute and tomorrow you will listen to 5 minutes maybe, okay? So it's all a matter of being consistent with yourself, being very, very forgiving to yourself, and accept that this is a procedure and it takes time to learn. Now, there is the language of action as well, okay? When you say, I'll think about it, instead of saying, I'll think about it, you can say, I'll give you an answer by the end of the week, okay? It sounds differently, right? Now, you must be doing this as professionals, but think about it about yourself, okay? When you say, I will try to say to yourselves, this is what I'm going to do. Not I will try to listen, but tomorrow I will dedicate 2 minutes to listen to this person, okay? I will put a stopper on my watch, on my phone. I will dedicate 2 minutes, okay? I will actually do it, okay? This is the language of action. I'm not sure if I can do this, etc., etc. I will learn the subject in order to make the best decision. That also goes for you, okay? Always make small steps. Don't expect to make large steps immediately. There's so many sayings about this. Martin Luther King, for instance, said, take only the first step. Even 1,000 miles journey begin with a first step. Napoleon Hill, if you can't do great things, do small things in a great way. Churchill, oh, I love this one. A drop of water does not cave in the rock because of its power, but because of its persistence. And very, very important, enjoy the journey. So we've now gone through the 3 principles of the AAA: awareness, accountability, and action. And guess what? Here's a project manager with all the challenges, the professional challenges, the private life, etc., etc. But if you do the AAA steps and you develop awareness and you take accountability and you take action, then at least these things will be off your back and you will be free to handle the other things that you need to face at work. Now, yes, Florin?
I don't say no, it's fine.
There was a sound, so I thought you wanted to say something. We are just about to end. When you take the AAA steps, this is what people see in you. Okay, they see humanity, authenticity, integrity. Remember you mentioned integrity at the beginning? Credibility, reliability, leadership, truth, and also beauty. And obviously these are examples. There's a lot more, okay? And when they see these things in you, this is how it affects them. They feel a lot more motivated. They want to collaborate with you. They want to follow your lead. They identify with you and with what you represent. Okay, they appreciate you. There's a lot more loyalty and a lot more trust. Okay, so you can always say to yourself, this is a good example. Okay, 2 brothers grew up in a home where the father was an alcoholic. Okay, one grew up to be an alcoholic too. When asked why, he replied, because I learned from dad. The other grew up without becoming a drinker. When asked why, he replied, because I learned from dad. I put this here just to show that we all have a choice. We can choose either way, and either way is your way, okay? Your way, and it's okay. I have brought this poem written by Robert Frost, just to show. I'll read the beginning and the end of it, and that's it. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I brought this because what I have given you today is the road less traveled by. Most people will choose not to work on themselves. They will choose to take more professional courses and take more, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay. But what I am suggesting, if you really want to become an inspiring leader, take care of yourselves first, and then automatically you will become an inspiring leader. Now, if you scan the code here on the screen, it will lead you to a very, very short meditation that I wrote for professionals. It's only 7 minutes, and you have instructions at the beginning, okay? The reason I made this meditation is to help people try and recognize if there's any limiting beliefs they have, what they and how to recognize it. So you're more than welcome to scan this, and it will take you straight to the meditation on YouTube. So this is me. This is my email. You're welcome to contact me, and that's it. If there's any questions, I will be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Ilanit. I think it was very inspiring talks, and I think everybody now understands better the AAA, the awareness, the accountability, and the action we need to take for being an inspirational leader. And actually we had very good feedback. So guys, I have shared on the chat the survey. So please, it will be nice if you can answer to give a feedback. And we have as well Tomisin, who sent as well a very nice text saying, I wish people would agree that project manager goes beyond being a career. It's more of a personal growth, development, and subsequent application of values to the society. This session is really value-packed. So thank you very much for the feedback. And we have a lot of people saying thank you. So as well, if you have any question, you can write it in the chat, or you can, if you are not shy, you can ask it directly. So I will let a few minutes. Maybe I can already share the feedback because it's really amazing. So you can continue to vote on the, and I will just share. So I think you can see. So we have very good feedback about so above 4.5. So it's really, how do you feel? So everybody feels good apparently. Presentation length was good as well, and recommendation was good, high five, and the topic as well. So you can continue to vote for the session. It's not closed, the vote, so you can still. And in the meantime, I don't know if there is people having question.
Well, maybe comment, Florian, may so. Ilanit, wow, this was a great presentation and very inspiring with a lot of insights. And you know, I'm also giving presentations about leadership, but you really broke some new ideas, you know, and that is very good. Thank you very much. And you also brought it in time, and you brought it in a manner that was very appreciated and appropriate for our audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for inviting me and for listening, and be patient, and I'm very happy I could give this information to you. And obviously this is, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more where this came from.
Sure.
Yes, but it does give you an idea, and as I said, it is the road less traveled by. Yeah. And you know, people are more than welcome to ask for more and seek more, and I'll be happy to provide more answers.
And maybe sometimes, you know, we do things unconsciously, like the AAA, you know, but it's very clear to make it conscious that we should be aware of our situation and problems and whatever. We should take our accountability and then action, and that's exactly what the steps we should follow.
Yes.
Ilanit, I had a question as well. You were mentioning to me that this method and this concept of AAA was set up for helping women at the beginning. I was wondering if you have some example of those women who maybe become project manager or entrepreneur thanks to your advice.
I have a lady who was over 70 at the time. That was a few years ago. And she rang me following, she saw me in a conference or something, digital conference or something a few years ago. And she approached me and she said to me in the first conversation, I have no reason to get up in the morning. And I have to say, I felt very, very stressed about trying to help this woman because this is a huge responsibility, you know. Yeah, and so I actually took advice. I took, you know, I consulted another mentor to say, you know, how do I help her? And we both agreed that if she turned to me, that then it's my destiny, let's put it this way, for a lack of a better word, to try and help this lady. And so we started weekly sessions, and I worked with her, and I gave her exercises of you know, how to practice, how to love herself, and how to trust herself and believe in herself. And slowly and gradually she grew, and today she is a mentor herself.
Oh.
Which is absolutely incredible. This is one lady I'm really this is one lady I'm very proud of her progress. Another lady was she was over 60 as well. You know, she was also an elderly lady. She was over 60, and all her life she was suffering from sadness. And she was fighting sadness all her life. She went to psychologists, she went to coaches, she went to psychiatrists, she took medication, she was fighting with it all her life. And then she met me, and what we do in the sessions, a lot of the times, it's please don't take this as advice here, because this is something that needs professional sessions. I'm just telling you as a story, okay, that happened to one of my clients. So don't take this as a professional advice. But what we did with her, we had some very interesting sessions. We started talking to her sadness, okay? So we actually invited the sadness to tell us the story. Why is it coming to her life so often? And the sadness told us something which was incredible. The sadness told us that it's only coming to remind her to be happy. That was it. That's all she needed. So I taught her how to embrace the sadness when it comes, rather than fight with it. So instead of fighting with it, she started embracing it. She started telling it, the sadness when it came, she started telling it, oh, I'm so happy you came, because now I remember that I should be happy. And it changed so quickly. She said in a few weeks' time, she said, I don't believe this. For 60 years, I have been fighting sadness. And then just a few sessions with you, and it all changed. It really kind of healed her completely. So there you go. You asked me, these are two stories that just came to mind.
Thank you for sharing, Ilanit, and thank you to empower women and professionals. I think your job is really, you are very good with people.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much.
So I can see that in the chat we have no question. It's still time. So you have the contact of Ilanit. So I'll let you 1 second to write a question if you have any. And in the meantime, I will just maybe I will stop sharing now. Tube.
I will remind that if anybody wants the presentation, I'm willing to send it to you, and you can share it with anyone. Just let me know if anybody wants it.
Yeah, please reach out if you want the. It will not be on the website, so please reach out if you want the presentation. So in the meantime.